Hi people, and welcome to a review of my 2014 MT09. There seems to be way more torque on this one than the MT09. It could be because as I'm accelerating there's more wind blast on me, and the wind blast is pushing me backwards as well. Doesn't detract from the fact that this is a great engine, and I do love this bike. I love everything about it. I love the riding position, which means it's comfortable. I love the sound of the engine with this Akrapovic exhaust on it. I love the way when you open the throttle on this thing, it just throws you back. You have to hang on. I love the clear and simple display on it. Small dashboard. It's got all the information that you need. You're not distracted by constantly looking down for things. I love that the bike is low and I can get both feet flat on the floor. It feels a simple, uncomplicated bike. I'm not surrounded by masses of fairing, which obviously makes the bike a lot lighter. That's another thing I like about it, the weight of it. It's so light and flickable. Quite a lot of people complain about the suspension on this bike, saying that the suspension is quite soft and springy, doesn't handle round corners. And I guess they're right to a certain level. For myself, I'm not a knee down person. I don't take corners as fast as I can. I only ride to the bike's limits, which means I ride safely. I might go fast in a straight line. So regarding the soft suspension, it doesn't really matter to me. No indicators, we're just stopping. I like the slow speed manoeuvrability of this bike, and that I can do U-turns on it no problem, and keep my feet up while I'm going slow. I also love the orange colour on this bike. It's a metal flake orange. It just glitters in the sunshine. And I like the gold forks. They stand out and make it look special. And what don't I like about this bike? I wish it had a bigger fuel tank. You may say I wish it had better pillion carrying capacity, but I'm not particularly bothered about that. Maybe the mirror stalks could be a bit longer. I have to put blind spot mirrors on this. The stalks are a little bit short, and I have to move my head to see what's behind me. There's really not a lot I don't like about this bike. It doesn't have a hydraulic clutch, it's a cable clutch, so you might think the clutch is heavy. But I don't think that at all. Do I wish it had a screen on it to protect me from the wind? Well, no, because I like the look of the naked bike. I like the way that it looks without the screen on it. I have a little fly screen down there, and to be honest, I can ride up to 85 miles an hour on a private road, of course, without a screen. And compared to my Tracer GT that has a screen, the air that blows past your helmet and your upper chest is very smooth. I like the way the torque is on this bike. I can quite happily sit in 6th gear at 30 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour until I need to twist the throttle and get a bit of a thrill. But you don't need to wring its neck for it to feel like you're having fun, and you don't need to drop it a couple of gears. The torque is always there. I'm really struggling to find things that I don't like about this bike. Oh yeah, well, the bike as standard doesn't come with grab handles or even a strap on the seat, so when you're moving the bike about in the garage there's nothing to grab hold of. I bought some aftermarket grab handles for mine. They were about £20 off eBay. Yeah, it's just a great, uncomplicated, fast bike. Crazy. So I guess the small 14 litre tank is one of the things that I'm not so keen on. I wish it had a bigger tank. The small tank is a restriction, obviously, on the distance I can travel before fueling up again. The maximum I've got was about 135, 140, which, looking at the forums, is pretty good for an MT09. The riding position, the top half of my body is sat straight up. There's a slight bend in my elbows and my legs are quite comfortable. They're not tucked up, quite comfortable. All the controls are easily at hand. I'd say it is a little bit confusing with the indicator on the left hand switches. Sometimes you get confused between that and the horn, and you can end up pressing the horn instead of the indicator. It's quite a simple bike, this 2014 model. There's no traction control on it, but there is driving mode selection. There's three modes. There's standard, there's a B mode which is slightly less responsive than standard, and there's an A mode which is more responsive. So standard's the middle one, A mode more responsive, B a bit less so. It's not that it reduces any horsepower by switching modes or increases the horsepower, it's more that it increases the sensitivity or decreases the sensitivity of the throttle. When I first got the bike, I was aware that people were mentioning a snatchy throttle and it may need an ECU flash to sort it out. And when I picked the bike up, I was very nervous of it because I'd heard its reputation, so I took it very easy while I was riding it for quite a while. So I was always in 5th and 6th gear in standard mode, or 4th, 5th and 6th gear in standard mode, and just riding quite easy, and I didn't really notice a jerky or snatchy throttle. But after owning it for a while and getting used to the bike, it is a bit more noticeable. And sometimes when I need delicate throttle, such as manoeuvring around roundabouts, I'll stick it in B mode. You don't really want an on-off throttle when you're banked over on a roundabout and you shut the revs off. You'll fall over. This bike picks up from nowhere. I can drop it down to 30 miles an hour in 6th gear. And she just takes right off again. I've certainly had bikes with worse handling. My Bandit 1200 for example, and probably my Honda CBF 1000. I've had bikes with better handling. My current Tracer GT for example, or the Honda RR2 Fireblade. Well, those bikes are for different things. I think this bike, the way it's set up, is perfectly suited for a quick blast around the country lanes, commuting to work on, going out for a bit of fun. Just to show it's good for going out for a bit of fun, I intended just to take it around the block today, just to charge the battery up. I've been out and done about 40 miles so far. Is the standard seat comfortable? Well, I couldn't tell you. I do have the standard seat, but I've never fitted it. I always have this custom seat on by Bagster. And no, this one isn't comfortable. After about an hour, it starts to pinch. There's a nice little spot. I love that one. Now, this is my own personal bike. I've had it 12 months. It's got quite a lot of extras on mine. It's got the custom seat on it. This is by Bagster. People have complained about the standard seat not being very comfortable, and this one isn't very comfortable either. It looks good, so I keep it on and I put up with the discomfort. I fitted these grab rails as extras. They're from Fleabay, cost about £20. They just make it easy for me to move the bike around the garage, get it in and out the garage. It's not really for pillions. Although, if you ever do decide to take a pillion, then you know they've got somewhere to hold on to there. But the standard bike doesn't come with these. It doesn't even come with a strap on the seat either. This, when I first picked the bike up, I thought it was a custom paint job. I don't know if you can see it very well on the camera, but it's sparkling. It's like a metal flake orange. Lovely colour. This bike also has the R&G bar end weights on. And the R&G crash bungs. It's a cross-plane 3-cylinder engine. Produces 115 brake horsepower. I can't remember the torque. I'll put it up on screen. It's 64.5 pounds, I think. The other extra on this one is the full Akrapovic exhaust. As you've heard, it sounds fantastic. We have a 180 rear tyre and a 120 on the front. It's a water-cooled engine, the radiator, but that's not the filler cap. You fill it up down the bottom here, and there's a fuel level gauge just there. Grip puppies, hand grips. I just like these because they're thicker. I prefer them to the standard. I prefer them to the standard grips because it feels like you're trying to grip a little bloody chip. And these grip puppies are a bit more substantial. There's a tail tidy on this one too. Normal UK law says that The number plate should extend beyond the back tyre, so it should be out there when the bike is sold as new. I've also fitted a phone charger on mine. My phone charger is by Ultimate Add-ons, and I've got it there just behind my number plate. Just press it on, a little light comes on. It's wired directly to the battery. I've got the wire coming under the tank, under the seat, under the tank, and up to the front here. Tucked in my little phone holder so I can use my phone for the sat nav, or I can charge my phone up if the battery's running low. Even if you did make a mistake and left it switched on and forgot to turn it off, it's only powering the little red LED switch. It's not exactly going to flatten the battery. It's a nice low seat height on this bike. Again, I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's around about 800mm, maybe 810. But I can get my feet fairly flat on the floor with this custom seat on. I haven't tried it with a standard seat. My tracer feels a little bit high. That's 850mm on the lowest setting. It has two height levels on my trace, 850, 865, but on the lowest seat height it's still a little bit high for me. This model has the ABS. We can see the ABS ring there. The 2013 models didn't have it. The 13 and the 63 Reg, they didn't have it. I also have the cheap brad guard on there. It looks okay. Also, mine has these infill panels here from Pyramid Plastics. This is not a standard panel. That just isn't there on a standard bike. It's you can see the frame underneath it. Whereas I like this one as it is. So I'm going to get back on her now and ride her back home again. I do know that I've been quite gushing about this bike. I do like it very much. I'm just full of compliments and not really many bad things to say about it. I always lean forward on this bike when I'm accelerating because it feels like I'm going to get thrown off the back or wheelie. I don't really want to do either. Now, once again, thank you for watching. Catch you next time.